this thing on? Are we live? Are we live? Oh my goodness. Hello, you guys. Welcome to my podcast, Life is a Vibe. I am so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is going to be a new chapter starting. I am just really ready to get back into podcasting, and we'll kind of go over, how we got here, who I am, if you are just becoming familiar with me, and what we're here to do on this podcast and in this space. I am just excited. I'm going to say that a billion times. I took a break from podcasting. I think it's been a year since I did my own podcast. So we're getting back into it, and I'm bringing it into this new audience and niche and my business and everything that is just really exciting for me. So I want to welcome you. Welcome. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you guys about what to expect from me, as well as some rapid fire get to know me. And that will be the bulk of this intro episode. And if you guys have any feedback, things you want to see, ideas you have for future podcasts, we can definitely get connected and get that going for sure. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's kick it off nice and easy. Why are we here? Sounds like a very big question. Why are we here? You know what I mean? But with this podcast, Life is a Vibe. So a little background on me. My name is Adriana Ramos, but I go by Ade. All my friends call me Ade. I have been a content creator for 5 years. I was working a full-time job at a marketing agency. I started a brand that some of you may know as Vibe with Ade. And I started that brand. It's a music festival content brand. And I started providing tips and tricks to the festival goers, really helping them navigate going to their first festivals, going to raves. I am a raver girl, So I did that from 2017 until now. I'm still doing it, been doing it. And I love doing it. It's been a part of my routine for so long. It's been a part of me. I've grown such an amazing and supportive community on there. But there was still a part of me that was yearning for something else. I was working full-time job, creating content on the side. We were building. Obviously, the pandemic happened, and I was just like, what else do I want out of life here? Do I want to take Vibe with Ade full-time? That wasn't really fully aligning for me. I was like, I don't think I can do that, just like the industry and everything. So what else do I want to do? And I really spent that year trying to figure it out, and I landed on coaching. And I was like, okay, well, what kind of coach do I want to be? I was going through all of these things. I actually wanted to be a coach back in when I graduated from college, but I was 22 years old. I was like, no one's going to believe me as a coach. You know what I mean? They're not going to trust me. I'm 22. And those were just some old limiting beliefs I had to get through in order to get to where we are now. And I was thinking about doing social media content coaching. That wasn't really aligning for me, teaching people to worry about the algorithm and followers and all that stuff did not feel good to me. And then I started working with Maddie Maple. She was my business coach for the beginning of 2021. We landed on me being a purpose coach, and I liked that. I launched my business, I quit my 9-to-5 immediately. I kind of got pushed out, and I was like, okay, if we're going to figure this out, we're going to see how this goes. I booked out my one-on-one programs. I've booked out group coaching programs within my first year, and it was just crazy. And so last year was just a year of figuring out how to work for myself. I was freelancing, doing coaching, doing content creating. So I was doing all 3 of those things. And that is what I'm still doing now. Beginning of this year, I was just doing coaching and content creating. Now that we're getting into the fall, getting into the winter, I'm doing freelancing again and also focusing on other platforms, which brings us to here. So earlier this year, I did switch from a purpose coach to a fulfillment coach. And what that means is that I help women find more fulfillment in their day-to-day and in their lives so that they can show up and just thrive. And it has been a lot more fulfilling, to do this kind of work, because it's something that I've struggled with for so long. And purpose is tied into that, but fulfillment just is like, how are you showing up in your day to day that feels so freaking good? You know what I mean? And how is your life feeling to you? I'm going to do a whole episode on life fulfillment and everything like that to get us going. But coaching women on how to do that has just been so, so great. So I did launch a new program this year called Activate Your Life that has been, the core foundations to creating a fulfilling life and helping women do that. So that brings me to this podcast. Life is a vibe. I wanted to name it Find Your Vibe, but because that's what my business is called, but I landed on life as a vibe because life really is a vibe. And it is a lot of, soul searching. It's a lot of personal growth. It's a lot of struggles. But when it is all jiving, it is all grooving, it is really a vibe, and I want your guys' life to feel like a vibe, whatever that vibe looks like for you, My vibe is like very chill, doing the thing, like very grounded. I'm a triple earth sign, Taurus sun, Capricorn rising, and Virgo moon, so that is my grounded vibe, right? And some of you are more fiery, more passionate. So whatever that vibe is, we are going to just focus on curating that life vibe for you and make it feel so damn good and juicy. And yeah, so that's just a little bit of background about me and this podcast and how this was born. I have done podcasting before, but I felt like I was trying to emulate other podcasts. When I did my first round of podcasting, I also felt like my topics were very conflicting with other podcasts in the music festival space. So this feels way more aligned for me because I'm talking about what I'm really fired up and passionate about, which is creating the life you want, and just really going after it and showing up. I did love the festival content. I still will be doing festival content, but there's only so many ways I can tell someone how to prepare for a festival, and it doesn't fill my cup up anymore, and that is okay because we are growing and evolving humans. That content used to fill my cup up when I first started. And now I'm even intertwining more spiritual and other things within the festival content because that's what feels good to me. And that's honestly what I was breaking out into in my Let's Vibe podcast, my first podcast I ever had. It was music festivals and then life stuff. Like I just felt this divide in me. So in this space, in this podcast that we are going to share together on a weekly basis, you're going to be talking about life. We're going to just be hitting some of the things that you might be struggling with in life. I'm going to be providing some experience, some stories, some tips. We're going to have guests on, and it's going to be this chill thing. And I think another thing that also really put me off was like having to do hour-long episodes. I'm going to try and keep you here for like 15, 20 minutes. If we go longer, we go longer. But I'm going to at least commit to 15 to 20 minutes, even if I just give you some quick, snappy things. Like that feels good to me for you to listen on your way to work or on the way home for work, whatever it may be. So I'm really excited to kind of have this new approach. And we're also in my cute little office filming. I'm going to be moving eventually to my own apartment. I've had my own apartment, but this apartment's like the apartment. And I'm going to have a cute little studio den office within my apartment. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. If you're watching this video on YouTube, I'm going to be doing that as well. So that's what feels really good and aligned for me. I'm going to talk a lot more about like human design and everything here, but I'm always going to say when it feels aligned for me, that means it's just like a big juicy yes. It's a heck yes. Like that is what we're talking about here because I've been diving into my human design a lot more. And when things are feeling aligned, it's a big yes. It's a big heck yes. It's a big fuck yes. You know what I mean? So that is what you could pretty much expect. We're going to talk life fulfillment. We're going to talk goals, habits and routines, mindset, other areas of life, and what I've learned, and just kind of bestow some inspiration, some motivation for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive into some rapid fire get to know me. I just looked up questions to ask someone on a podcast. So we're just going to go through these rapid fire. And so you can get to know me a little bit better. And if you want to connect with me on Instagram at FindYourVibe111, you can share with me your answers, or if we have any similarities, let me know. But kicking it off, when is your birthday? I love my birthday because it's 5/9/95. I just love when numbers do that, So May 9th, 1995, I'm like on that zillennial cutoff, I guess. Like, I feel like I can keep up with Gen Z a lot more. I don't really attach myself to the millennial identity, I feel like, but that's where we're at. And like I said, Taurus sun, Virgo moon, and Capricorn rising. What do you do for a living? So I work for myself, obviously, as a coach. And I also do content creation, and then I'm a marketing freelancer. So we got a lot going on, got a lot of different things going on, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Working for yourself is hard, but for me, it's been so worth it. All right, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? My heart is still yearning for Japan. Japan. It has been on my radar for so long. I do want to go back to Europe though, but let's say Japan. What was your favorite school subject? I was really great at math. And I say that was probably my favorite because I was really good at it, and it feels good to be really good at something, you know? Do you have a small or big family? So I have a small core family, but big extended family. I'm an only child. I was a rainbow baby, meaning my mom miscarried before me. She also miscarried after me. So I was the one that made it through, you know? I hated being an only child, but then when I found out what miscarriages were and that my mom had them, my heart just like broke for her. But I did grow up with a little chihuahua, which was super cute. But yeah, my extended family is huge. My dad's side is huge. My mom's side is huge. I have so many cousins spread out across the country, which is kind of nice because if I go to a city, like I might have a cousin there. What genres of music do you like best? Do you have a favorite song? I am an EDM girl to the day I probably die. I do like other music. I like pop. I like alternative. I had a big alternative phase growing up. I do like indie music, vocalists. I'm a music person, but I'm obviously in the EDM space. I love some house music. My Spotify is Vibe with Aid that I have. That is all the music that I have there, all curated into different playlists if you want to see my music taste. My favorite song, I'm just going to go to what's my on repeat right now. That's like the easiest, I feel like. So on repeat is a Fred Again song. I've been a big Fred Again stan, and his song Danielle, such a cute little vibe. If you guys don't know Fred Again, I highly recommend checking him out. He's like one of my favorites right now. Next question. How do you spend your free time? So I've been doing a lot better with this, trying to find balance, but I love working out. I love going to yoga. I love playing my Switch. I've been playing Animal Crossing. I'm trying to get into other games too. So I will be definitely trying out some new games soon if you have any recommendations. And then I love watching reality TV. I just love it. And I've also been teaching myself to DJ. So that is another way that I like to spend my free time. Are you a morning or a night person? I like both. And I've been going to bed by 11 o'clock and waking up by 7. So I used to be a super hardcore morning person when I was working a 9 to 5, but I think I'm more of a morning person. I just love the feeling of a new day, but I do like night to rest and decompress. So I used to be super hardcore morning, but now I'm kind of I like both. What is your favorite food or meal? Honestly, chicken fried rice. Anything chicken fried rice with some pot stickers. If I had to have a last meal, it would be from P.F. Chang's. Chicken fried rice, no veggies, some pork dumplings, pan fried, and then Kung Pao chicken. That's my favorite. My family and I used to go to P.F. Chang's all the time. That's my comfort meal. When I'm having a day, I'll order that on Uber Eats. Okay, what's your favorite color? Pink. There's nothing really pink. Oh, behind me, if you're watching on video, a light pink. I love pink. Anything pink. What is your favorite movie or TV show? Oh, movie, Across the Universe. It's a Beatles musical movie. TV show, always Gossip Girl. Always Gossip Girl. What is your favorite memory as a kid? Favorite childhood teacher? I was actually just thinking about this. I was so lucky growing up that I got to go to my grandparents or my aunts every summer. So I think we would switch off summers. I would go to my grandma's up in Nebraska, which was always really fun because I got to hang out with my cousins. I don't have siblings, so my cousins felt like siblings. And then the next summer I would go to El Paso and stay with my aunt and get to be there. So I felt very lucky to get to have that for my summer, instead of having to like go to kids club, because that's what I used to do before school and after school. So it was kind of a nice change of pace. So I feel like that. Also going to Disneyland, Disney World, those are my favorite memories, which I know is very lucky to get to have those memories. Favorite childhood teacher? Miss Williams was my favorite in second and third grade. She honestly reminded me of like Jennifer Aniston. She was super nice. Who is your celebrity crush? It has always been Zac Efron. He's getting older now. Like, he's like looking older. He's like looking like an adult. You know what I mean? I saw him. He's in a movie coming out. And in that trailer, I was like, oh my gosh, he's like looking older. Do you speak more than one language? Hablo español un poquito. Un poquito, un poco. I only know a little bit of Spanish. I know enough to get me by. What is your biggest pet peeve? Ooh. Biggest pet peeve. I feel like in a conversation when it is not a two-way street, you know what I mean? Like energy is not reciprocated. And I also feel like I can't get a word in. This also happens a lot in group settings too, where like I try and talk and like I just immediately get shut out kind of thing. I feel like that would be my biggest, but I probably have more. That one just comes to mind when like a conversation is just so like one-sided, you know, especially when you hang out with a friend and like you're just talking about them the whole time. Not my fave. What is your favorite holiday? I feel like Christmas is probably my favorite. I've always loved Christmas. My parents always made Christmas special. Where did you grow up? I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona, in a suburb called Awasuki. It's basically southern Phoenix on the other side of South Mountain. That is where I grew up, basically all white neighborhood, which is probably why I sound like this. A lot of people have always asked, why don't you have an accent? And it's mainly where I grew up. What is a skill that you would like to learn? DJing, I'm getting better at. There was something else that I wanted to get better at. I think it's mainly just DJing right now. I wanted to get back into like arts and crafts. I just don't know what kind. What do you value most in a friend or partner? Ooh. Well, my love language is words of affirmation. So it's honestly just like hearing me out and understanding me and then like providing words of support, because most of the time I already know what I need to do to fix something. Like that's already, the plan's already created in my head, but it's like I need to vent to someone and have that emotional space, but then also get that encouragement back, you know what I mean? And also just like letting me know that I need to maybe like chill out sometimes. That's probably what I value most. Last question is, what is your biggest irrational fear? Honestly, death is not like a fear of mine, but I've always been afraid of losing both parents at the same time, which I do not want to manifest. I'm knocking on wood now because I probably have said that so much. Like that's one of my biggest fears, is losing both of them at the same time. Just because as an only child, like you just have them, you know what I mean? So I've always been afraid. Like when they would go out and I would just be at home, like I was old enough, you know, to like take care of myself. We didn't need babysitters at that point. I don't know what age I was, but I would start crying if I thought that they would be home by a certain point. Like I already created a whole storyline in my head that they got into a tragic car accident or whatever. So I've always had that fear of losing both of them. But then even then, if, you know, I lost just one of them, I know that the other was going to be in so much pain, right? So when it comes down to it, you know, who knows what's going to happen, but it's always been a fear of mine to lose both of them at the same time. We just got really deep on that last one. But yeah, I hope to do some Q&A episodes, get to know me episodes and things like that. But that's a quick rundown about me. And I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Welcome to this podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. Last thing I'm also going to do is pull some affirmation cards and a higher self card for your week. just so you could have some good vibes and encouragement going into your week. So your affirmation for this week is, I have confidence in myself. I am ready for everything that life offers me. I love that. I have confidence in myself. I am ready for everything that life offers me. Amazing. So juicy. And then I have this deck. It's called A Note from Your Higher Self. It's from the Cosmic RX. I love this deck. It is so fun. It just gives you kind of like a note. Some of it's mantras, some of it's like something to do. My camera died. I need to get used to this. Your higher self note for this week is to unstuck yourself. Remember who you were before the world got its hands on you. Feed your wild wolf woman. Move, shake, howl at the moon. Ooh, yes. I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Well, like I said, thank you so much for tuning in this week and checking out my new podcast, Life is a Vibe. I hope you're excited to join me every week. If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to share this episode on your story and tag me to celebrate the start of this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning and listening in, and I will see you guys next week. Stay vibey, and don't forget, life is a vibe. Bye.